Hey, the average Joe here for our weekly meeting. So, how important is it to have a clear, clean design path? Can HVAC system schematics provide that clear, clean path for all team members to understand and for the team members to follow? We believe at HVAC Solution the schematics are essential from the concept of the project all the way to completion. Yes, you can go now from our Revit loads to HVAC solution and then back to Revit. So here's another project type that was automatically built utilizing one of our wizards. You'll see very clearly that there's an air handler here. It's a heat recovery air handler, and this was built by the wizard. And in that air handler is a heat wheel with some fans, filters. You'll see a humidifier, a nice, clear, clean path to each space. In each space, you'll see that there is a VRF indoor unit, and over here, the refrigerant piping to each indoor unit with the branch selectors, the outdoor unit going to a well, then the little humidifier schematic over here showing the piping to the humidifier. So optimization and automation is very important. From concept to completion, you need to have a clear, clean path to understand and to follow through your projects. At HVAC Solution, we can go right from the schematics to your Revit 3D model, or a lot of our design build contractor users, they go right from the HVAC Solution right to fabrication on the model in fabrication. So we simply answer questions in our easy-to-use system wizard and build most any HVAC system schematics. You'll see there on the left, there's 8 different wizards. The results, system schematics automatically built and all calculations completed. Very clean and clear to follow. See the boilers, see the fuel gas piping down at the bottom, see the air-cooled chiller, a new filter dynamic we added there in the air handler and the airflow diagram as well. So we can take and automatically select equipment and schedule it. The project that I just showed you on the screen, we selected Ruskin dampers and louvers, dynamic filters, tied as terminal units, airmac chillers, canvas boilers, the Griswold control valves, Taco products, pumps, air separator expansion tanks, ADI magnetic filters, IMA balancing valves, cook fans, and glycol feed axiom, all automatically done, as well as the ductwork and hydronic and gas piping sized and all the control points generated for the project. So here are the schedules and reports that can be created. Different ASHRAE 62, 170, bill of materials for cost, control point schedules, electrical coordination, the equipment schedules, obviously, schematics for Revit, structural schedules so we understand weights that we need to pass on, transfer air schedules, where's all the air going from space to space, and new are head and static pressure summaries when you're doing calculations on the pump head and static pressures on fans. So here's an example of some of the control point schedule, the bill of materials, air-cooled chiller schedule, electrical coordination, who's going to provide starters, disconnects, emergency powers, and all the voltages and phases for the electrical engineer. So we partnered over the years with 60 manufacturers plus, so you can automatically select equipment which meets the project needs. New just added are the ADI magnetic filters, canvas boilers, dynamic filters, GPS air products, and here next month the IMI hydronics. There are the other partners below. Now also we can simply answer questions in our easy-to-use import system wizard and build most any system schematic as well with your load file. Here down below you'll see the Revit system analysis. This will be added to the software here next month in October. So can I put my schematics and schedules back into Revit? Yes, we can do that. Let's just look at that briefly. So here on our add-in, you'll see at the top there we can import and link the schematics in the Revit drafting view there on the left. We can also import the schedules in Revit in the drafting view as well. Now, by creating your system schematics, a user knows what equipment is to be placed in your 3D model and how it's to be connected. Many times, different people are doing the Revit layout and drawing, as might be the engineer that's doing the schematics. So by giving an engineer this schematic, they'll see there's 4 boilers in that schematic and 4 boilers down in the Revit model. 2 cooling towers in the schematics, 2 cooling towers in the Revit model, pumps, tanks, etc. So now that Revit person knows what components to put into Revit and how they're to be connected in Revit by looking at the system schematics. So when you place, you see on the screen I've placed a boiler and a pump in the Revit model. You do that with all your equipment, and then you're going to map the equipment. So here on our little add-in, you'll see on the left equipment and HVAC solution, and then when you hit that map equipment, you'll see all the equipment you put in your Revit 3D model. And then down below, you can actually link that equipment together and transfer the data from the HVAC solution family to that Revit family as well. So benefits. What benefits do I have by creating schematics? And I'm talking the first day of a project for all team members. You can quickly convey the architect physical sizes of space needed in mechanical and fan rooms, as well as equipment located outside or on the roof. You quickly can convey the electrical loads to the electrical engineer, who's going to provide starters, disconnects, is anything on emergency power. You know equipment weights and loads, so they can be given to the structural engineer. You can quickly get all the control points to the control contractor so they can understand costs and what equipment's on projects. And just up front, when equipment is selected, 50% of the mechanical cost is typically the equipment and controls. The other 50% of a project is usually, ductwork, piping costs, and then labor associated with installing all those things. So those costs can be known right up front on the first day of a project. You can start a wizard by going in and entering this, so much CFM per square foot, and start sizing equipment. Or once your loads are done, then you can import those loads as we talked about and build the system and select the product from the loads. So benefits from creating the system schematics for you as the engineer and mechanical. All the equipment selected, manufacturers are scheduled that meet the project needs, all the reports generated. You know what equipment is to be put in the 3D model or the fabrication, how it's to be connected. It's sized actually, so you know what sizes to put in that 3D model. Major equipment, you can get the size of that up front for boilers and chillers and that to the other, consultants, electrical engineers, structural. Pictures are so much easier to understand and follow by all team members. It's a project account. It's going to organize all the calculations and information. It helps to standardize in your office decisions on how you're going to do things. It's a method also to provide for experienced engineers to convey to other engineers so they can understand systems and how they're related and controls. And then, like I mentioned, half the costs up front of a project is all the equipment related costs, and those are known before you even started any 2D or 3D model. And then you always have a dynamic model of that building going forward when remodels take place. The building owner loves that, to understand capacities and sizes of equipment on his project. So Revit and HVAC solution, what used to take me as an engineer days and weeks to do is now completed in minutes and hours with these two fantastic softwares working together, integrated into one tool, passing information back and forth. Your projects can be completed. So the remainder of this presentation is going to be you going and downloading the software if you already don't have it, going to our wizards, and just answering those questions and building your system schematics and passing the information back and forth, bringing the load data out of Revit into HVAC solution, then putting that data back into Revit as well. Hope this has been helpful. Hey, thanks for watching.